Okay, gonna have a look at them. Apparently, people are going mad about the leaving cert ones, but I'll have to have a look. Let me just make sure everything is working as it's supposed to. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, I'm just gonna go through them in order. We'll see how long it takes. Should be interesting. But yeah, start with the junior cert ordinary level, I suppose. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna have to sort that out. But oh yeah, okay, I forgot this is normally what happens. Okay, so yeah, I'll try to do this in my head, save time. Two, and then we have to carry the one, so that's 20. That would be 4, carry the 6, 4 with a point there. That would be 24. What number's halfway between 8 and 14? I'd say 11. But I've fucked up my mouse. I would say 11. You can add them together and divide by 2. If you're unsure, find the lowest common multiple of that. 30, right? Yep. Parker. Wow, goes to the shop. Table ocean. So that'd be 950. 1595. That's a bit silly. And then this one would be 4790. We add them down the way, we would get carry the 1, we would get carry the 2, so it would be 72, I think, and that's that one. Find the table. Yep. He also buys a hat. In total he spends 83.35. He gives 150 and 2 20s. How much change would he get? 6 whoops 665. Yeah. How many? Oh, right. Oh, write down 2 more possible choices. Oh, uh, burger and brownie, and then burger and ice cream. Cool. Find the total number of different choices. That's what I assumed it would be. 3 times 4, which is 12. In a survey, 30 students were asked what they prefer to watch. Complete the table. Holy shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gaelic is sorted apparently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hurling is apparently also sorted. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a 5th one in there somewhere that I'm missing. I suppose it doesn't matter. I just kind of want to have it in my head that oh, there he is. Rugby then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then soccer should be all the rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if that's so there should be 30 today. Add up to 30. That's 15. That's 14. I'm missing one. What one did I not tick? A soccer. So that's actually a 6. In the line plot below each student. Oh my god. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 6. I don't think we really would have had those before, but hopefully people will be able to spot what's going on. Right, which measure of central can you find for this data? We can find the mode, I suppose. The mode, and what is it? We would say darts. Oh, it's the value of it. So we'd say, okay. This was, you could really kind of say this is right, the value of this measure. See, normally we would just say what is the mode, and we would say darts. What do I mean by that? Right, then the value. You can't find the mean. You can't find the median. It has to be the mode. The value though seems odd, unless that's gonna they're not dumbing it down for ordinary. God, I hope I'm not missing something there. Surveys carried out during the World Darts Championship. Do you think this had an effect? Yeah. Um, you know, the darts is on. More people would be thinking about darts at the time. Um, yeah, it's just easier to watch, I guess. That's what you'd write in English. Okay, I did this with some of them. Use a protractor, that's good. I did that with someone the other day. So that's good. I'm not entirely sure. I can't measure this. I would guess it's going to be something like 60, and then that would be 120. I'm going to guess. Okay, how many students chose Alder as their favourite team? Remember, there was 60 students in total, so we'd say then 90 is a quarter of it, so 15. Alien took part in an adventure race. The race included a run, a cycle, and a mountain climb. Cool. Uses information. Okay, I did go through this with someone as well. Interesting to see. How many minutes was she stopped? 10. Just for the flat bit. She started at 9, and what time did she finish? Well, it took her 130 minutes, which is 2 hours and 10 minutes, so we would say 11:10. In what part of the race was she travelling the fastest? We would say for the cycle. And the why, because it's the steepest. Alien completed the climb in 30 minutes. Right, 30 minutes is a fraction of an hour. Okay, alright. A half. Distance, speed, and time. So we're looking for speed. We have to do distance divided by time, which would be this, which works out to be 8. And you'd have to say kilometers an hour. I don't know how strict they are with the units, but that's what we would do for that. Area be 25 centimeters squared. Perimeter is 64. If it's a square, would mean that it's going to be 16 centimeters each side. Rectangle has this length that multiply. Oh, okay. 2x squared plus 13x plus 15. I don't know if that's a bit much now for order. Well, not really. I did that with some others. Okay, there's a few things. I'm happy with this. Triangle is shown here. What's x? We would say 60, and then y would have to be 65. We would say it is scaling. That might be tough for them. None match. Everyone knows that for the sides, but it's also true for the angles. So none match. Draw the fourth one. Hopefully it's all okay with me doing that. How many sticks? We'd say 3, 5, and then it was 7, yeah, and then 9. Do I have 9? 1, 2. Yeah, I do have 9, but obviously I'd have to break the bottom one up. Yeah, I'm being stupid. That would be 11. Yeah, she is. Oh my god, her pattern 150, it's 301. Sticks at 303, because you're out in 2 on each time. What kind of sequence is it? Linear, plus 2 each time. Use the pattern to work out the number of sticks in 38, so we would double that, which would be 76, and add 1, which is 77. One of the patterns has 27. I'm assuming that, so we'd say n is 13. Well, k is 13. Work out the total number of passengers: 67, 128, 158, 170, 180, I think. What's the greatest number of passengers it could have been? I did this with somebody. If only we knew. What's the greatest number that could have been above 10 and a half? It's these three all added together, so 52. 10 and a half, yeah. Work out the mean of these. Oh, okay. Hold on, I'm just going to type them into my calculator. The decimals are pissing me off. 9.9 plus 8.6 plus 7.2 plus 9.8 plus 9, and then divide that by 5. 8.9. The median would be biggest and smallest. Biggest and smallest. So the median would be 9. Each flight costs the same total as. Work out the cost of one flight. Okay, that might be interesting. So you'd have to take away 2140 once from it, so they get 735, and then divide that by 5. You would get 735, 147. Yeah, because then that would be 735. Add the 21. Yep. Family change 400 into sterling. So we'd have to multiply 0.89 by 400. 356. B would be 3 and 1. C would be 2 and 4. How many axes of symmetry does it have? Just the one, right? On the diagram, draw the image of ABC under axis of symmetry. I was about to do a completely different thing. So we would do here, here, and here, and we just join them up. Axial symmetry in the x-axis. Yep. Work out the area of the triangle ABC. That would be tough for ordinary level. It's going to be 3, but I think that would be tough because it's a half base by height, so it'd be 2 by 3, but halved, so it'd be 3. I don't know, what was it, units squared, we'll say. The slope of A to C is 3. Use this to find the equation of the line A to C. Interesting. Again, quite difficult, I would imagine, for junior cert ordinary. So it's going to be here. That's going to be the y-intercept minus 2. Yeah, I don't think people would get that in ordinary level junior cert, but we'd say y is equal to 3x minus 2. And 1 would be on that. And 2, 4 would... let me make sure it's alright. 2, 4. Yeah, would also be on that, yeah. Okay, that would be 110. Tax credit 78. I did this wrong the other day, so I want to make sure it's 38. Her net income would be 512. In a survey, 40 students were asked football and reading. 5 said they like both, 12 said they like reading. And then added them together, we would get 23. And so that means there's 17 outside. 17, 28. Yeah, how many students like reading? Only 7. Explain what this means. The number of people who like football but not reading is 11. That's what we would say in English. I just don't want to write it all out, if that's okay. One student is picked at random from the 40 who were surveyed. What's the probability this person does not like football nor reading? We would say 17 out of 40. Don't like either. Yep. What is the radius? It is 2. Work out the volume. We would say to nearest centimeter squared, though. 28 pi to nearest centimeter squared would be 88. Well, cubed, sorry, because I did pi 2 squared by 7. That's what I got. Yeah. Yeah. 18 of these candles fit exactly into the rectangular boxes shown below. Write down the length of this. What is it? 6 across. We know they're all 4 wide, so 6 fours is 24. Hence work out the volume. 24. 24 times 12 times 7. 2016. We'd say centimeters cubed. Yeah, 4, 6, 6 fours is 24. Oh, okay. Alright then. This one would be 9a minus 2b. This would be x minus 4. Fx is equal to 2x. Okay, I feel like even though people might not know what's going on, they'd be able to spot from the ones that they've already done, so that's okay. That's not too bad. Use Pythagoras' theorem. Here, that is going to be 10 centimeters, because it's a Pythagorean triple, I think. 3, 4, 5. Tan would be 6 over 8. And then use your calculator. So we would do tan inverse of 6 over 8. And I'm in radians because of course. And to the nearest degree would be 37 degrees. Okay. Straight into here then, I guess. I forgot how to... What is pause on this? I can't remember. I guess we're going straight into it. So, well, actually, I should look up the thing. Hang on now. Pause. What did I set pause as? Let's see if that works. Does that work? It does. It does. Okay, so, yeah, okay. Look, it's fine. junior cert or honors now, yeah. Again, because this is spinning a fair thing. Oh, fill this all in. Or 1, or 2, or 4, or 5, or 6, y6, b6, y5, y4, b4, b3, y3, or 3, 2, sorry, my goodness, b2, b1, y1. That would be an interesting one to get wrong, actually, Christ. I did get it wrong. That's a Y. That's Y2. All right, that's Y2. Don't judge me. Um, yeah, my goodness. What are the odds of getting red? 1 in 3. Blue and even would be 3. 3 out of 18, so 1 over 6. Right, blue. that Y2 is throwing me. Blue and an even number. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, 3 out of 18. Yep. Uses information to draw it on the thing. All right. 21. So you'd have to draw like this. Now I can't get straight lines on this. You're just gonna have to forgive me on that one. And this would be 20. Whoops. This should be 14. This should be 4. And this should be 1. Yeah, okay. Find the maximum students who could have spent less than 3 hours, 41. Use mid-interval values. Yeah, I was afraid of this. So it's going to be 21 plus 60 plus 70 plus 28 plus 9 all over, does it say 60? Okay. 21, just have to type that in. 21 plus 60 plus 70 plus 28 plus 9. I just forgot to write in the 60 and pressed equals, and then the calculator gave out to me 3.1. Does that make sense for this? Yeah, 3.1 looks like it makes sense. I suppose, what is it, hours? Yeah, I'll put H for hours. Oi. So 30 and 10 and 6 and 14 adds up to 60. So that means social media would be half of it. So we'd say this is 180 degrees, and we would say that's social media. We'd say video gaming was a sixth. Again, I can't really do this properly, but that should be 30 degrees. No, that's wrong. It should be 60 degrees. Sorry, I did that arseways. So it's out of 60 in total. So it should, and it's 10, so it should be a sixth, which is 60. So it should be more like this. It should be 60. Video streaming, gaming was 6 out of 60, so a tenth. So it should be roughly 36. So it should be just slightly past 90 degrees. Sorry, that shouldn't be a straight line down. It should be slightly to the right. So that's 36 for gaming, and then that should be whatever's left, I guess. What's that? 96, 84 for messaging. Yeah, look, that one's going to be tough. For me, I think junior certs would be okay. Well, I don't know. Are they anymore? Who knows? Sorry, I should have zoomed in as well. Martina buys a new car, 25,000. Oh, showed it the cost of the car is 25,000. Oh, okay. Well, the way I teach people is I would have said €1 equals to this many pounds, but we need to divide both sides by 0.85 to make the euro side into, or to make the pound side into 1, but then I'd multiply both sides by 25. Nope, not that one. That keeps throwing me. The 21,250 number. So let's say 1 over 0.85 multiplied by 21250. And it does, yeah, it gives me 2,000 or 25,000. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. It's the number. Oh, if you multiply this by this guy, it will give you 25,000. If you multiply it by this guy, it just give you 21,250, but that's okay. Custom charge at 33375. Write that as a percentage of this. We would just put it over it, multiply by 100. 13.5. I don't know if people are going to get that one. That one always causes an issue for people. Oh, I did this with not my third years, but my ordinary levels. So it'd be 8,000 for the first bit, and then it would be 4,000. Sorry, for the next 10,000, 40%, 20% of the first. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Why am I struggling with that? 40,000, fifth of it, yeah. Tax credits of 3,300. So we'd add those other two numbers together from above and get 12,000, and we take away 3,300. We'd end up with 8,700, but that's not her net income. She's earning 50,000. So we take away 8,700 from that, and we would get 4,1,300, and that's her net income. She gets a net, and her net increases by 4,800. Work out her new gross annual income. Well, if that's her net, that's 60%. So I would divide that by 6 to get 1%. 10% is 800. So then she must be getting 10% is 800. So she must be getting 8,000. That doesn't seem right. Give me a second. No, that's not right. What am I doing? 4, 8. No, it is. It's fine. I'm just gaslighting myself. But then we'd have to add it to the 50,000 to get 58,000 because it asks for her gross annual income, not just how much extra she was getting, her full amount. Right? Yeah. B, I did do this with them the other day. We'll see if that comes true. This would be 4 and then 3. The equation of the line A to C. I don't know if people are going to see this. 2x plus k. Now, without doing any maths, I can cheekily just say it's going to be -5. Did they make the graphs look wrong? I'm like, how do they do that? Yeah, I'm going to say -5. Without measuring the diagram, investigate if it's an isosceles. Might be helpful to find the distance A to B. Sure. The distance from A to B, if you use your distance formula, would be square root of 10. I'll do it up here actually, just so I can see it still. That one would be square root of 10. This one here would also be the square root of 10. This one here would be 2 and 4, which would be the square root of 20, which is 2 root 5. So yeah, I would say it's an isosceles because they're both root 10. Yeah. Now again, you'd have to do out the distance formula if that's all right. The triangle ABC is the image of the thing under central symmetry, so similar to the ordinary level, but just using central instead of axial. Central symmetry in the origin 0, 0. Okay, so that means A prime is going to be here. C prime is going to be, it's going to go down 3 and across 4, so across 4 and down 3, so that's C prime. And then B prime is just going to be out here on the -5. And then we join them together like so. Yeah, it's a bit jank looking, but that's, I think it's okay. Victoria with a K is 9, and Senan, I haven't seen that name, but a lot of people on TikTok have that name apparently, is 11. 120 is divided into the ratio of their ages of 9 to 11. That's gross. So that's going to be 20. 20 would go into that 6 times. So we'd do, how much money does Victoria get? 6 times 9 is 54. and then you'd be 66 and add that together. Yeah, you would get 120. Distance from the sun to Mars is approximately this much. Light travels at this much. Use this to work out the time it takes for the light travel from sun to Mars. So if we want to do time, we need to do distance divided by speed. That's fine. That's okay. Now a million is 6 zeros. Yeah, okay. I thought they were going to do something else here, but they're not. 300,000. Now we have to remember that's per second. I guess that's what they were trying to trick people with. So I can just knock off 5 zeros and then divide by 3. Okay, yeah, that's fair. In all honesty, 2500 over 3. Now the problem is that's per second, and they want it in. Oh no, that's not per second. That's distance. So that's how many. No, I'm just being stupid. It's time. Yes, I'm being so stupid. It's seconds. I meant that at the start. Right? So it's not many seconds, but in order to find out how many minutes that is, we would divide it by 60. And it's corrected nearest to one decimal place. It'd be 13.9 minutes. Now, give me a second to make sure that's okay, because I clearly just was fucking that up. 250 million 300,000 divided distance by speed. I got time, which is going to be in seconds because it was per second, so I had to divide that number by 60 to figure out how many minutes it was. Yeah, okay. Same again. I am noticing they do this kind of trend with the honours and ordinaries and juniors. So it's very common. So here they doubled the number and added 1, so it has to be a 5. Yeah, which of the following does not represent a function? We would say diagram 1 is not a function. No, we wouldn't. Sorry, I did that arrow, so ignore that. It's diagram 2, because we can't have 2 arrows coming from the same one. What each input has a unique output. Each input has one output. That's what we'd say. Yeah, you can't have an input having 2, or else it's not a function, some other thing. Yep. You can have this though. You can have 2 things giving you the same answer. Yep. Now I did do this with my junior certs the other day, so hopefully they were okay with this. So hold on, I have to read all the words to make sure I know it. An algebra, geometry, probability. They shows. Oh, okay. No, that's all they gave us. Okay, one of the regions on the Venn diagram is X. Write a statement describing exactly which problems these students solved. Geometry and probability questions. That's what these people in here did. They did, but not algebra. I almost forgot that bit, right? But not the algebra one. Use the information to fill in the rest. There we go. 2 students did all 3. 2x solved geometry only. 7 students solved both the algebra and geometry, so that means these have to add up to 7, so that's 5. So A union G would be all of this shit. I'm going to zoom out so I can see it all. A union G would be 4 plus 5 plus 2x plus 2 plus y plus x. It should all equal to 29. And we'd add the like terms. That would be 9, 11. 9, 11, yep. Then we'd say plus 3x plus y equals 29. Bring the 11 over, make it a minus. Make it 18. And then over here, P is y plus 2 plus x plus y equals 13. And then we would say 2y plus x. We bring the 2 over, make it a minus, and give you 11. Now I've written that the other way around, but that's okay, mathematically speaking. Solve these. Multiply the whole bottom line by minus 3, so it'll be minus 3 minus 6 minus 33. A cancel, that'd be minus 5y equals minus 15. So that means y is equal to 3. And then we go back up here and say y is 3, bring it over, make it a minus, x is 5. And then we make sure that does work. Yep, 5 and 3. Oh, wow. Okay, geometric one in okay. All right. So that would be 10, 20, 40, and then 160. Yeah, hence draw it on the graph. 10 is like here, 20 is here, 40, 80, 160, and it's supposed to look like a curvy line, not a straight one. So it kind of looks like this. Use your graph after 2.5 hours. So you go to 2.5, go boop, 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 boop. So I would say that's maybe like 55-ish. Yeah, my graph isn't going to be perfect, obviously, but that's what I'm going to guess. Until there's 120. So we go boop, 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 boop. Whoops. Maybe 3.7. Yep, I'm going to go with that. We'd say exponential. That's going to be very controversial for junior cert. It's doubling each time. I have builders in. I don't know if you just heard them go la 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 la, but that wasn't me. What is the number of bacteria 24 hours afterwards, according to this? So you'd have to put 24 in place. Let me just make sure T was hours. Yep, number of hours. Now it says put that as this. I'm curious if your calculator would have said. No, it didn't. Okay, interesting. So if you do that out, you would get 167772160. We want the decimal place there, though. We wanted the 3 significant figures, which is 1.68. We would say by 10 to the power of 368. That's your answer. Yeah, I think so. I thought I miscounted. Minus B, wonderful. Because I did go through that with them. And then correct the 2 decimal places would be 0.39 for one of them, and minus 3.89. Following things as a single fraction. I did do this. So that would be 3x minus 4x minus 4 over x plus 1 times x, which we would say is minus x minus 4 over x plus 1 times x. I don't think, now normally we would just leave that out, but like in junior cert level, I can't imagine they wanted to multiply that out, because that looks worse. That looks worse in my mind, but if they wanted you to, I can't imagine they did. I can't imagine. Let me just make sure I didn't goof it up. 4x and 4, but we have to minus both of them, then 3x. Yep. Ooh, interesting. I don't know if I did this enough with them. So we could say so we could, for the first one, weirdly we do the last one, we'd say 12 is equal to 0 plus 0 plus c, so c is 12. Then for the other ones, I think you would just have to do, well, there's another way of doing this, I suppose, but I just don't think the junior certs would have gotten that. So what we could also do is we could say minus, no, we couldn't, we could say 0 is equal to 9a minus 3b plus 12. I'm going to just change him to a minus 12 as if I moved him across. And then the other one would be if we subbed in 0 everywhere there's a y, but put in minus 2, so it'd be 4a minus 2b, and then plus 12, but again we're going to put that over here and make minus 12. I'm going to multiply this whole line by 2, so I get minus 24 equals 18a minus 6b, and then multiply this whole line by minus 3, so I'm going to get 36 equals minus 12a plus 6b, and then they cancel. That's 12, that's 6a, that means a is 2, and then when I sub it back into here, let's say that would be 8, bring it across minus, so b is 10, so 10 and 2. Let me just check one to make sure that works. I'll just do this. It would be 18 minus 30. Yeah, yep. Draw a square that has a perimeter of 12. A square, so it'd have to be 3 by 3 by 3. I immediately went to do a rectangle. Perfect. A rectangle has length of w, where L and W are whole numbers, so area is 10. Draw one such rectangle. Area, we could say, is 5 times 2 then. Like so. Use a ruler for the love of God. Oh, the area triangle is the thing. 4h. So in order to get the area, we'd have to do half base by height, so we'd have kh equals 4h. H's would cancel, so k has to be 8. The builder sneezed. Yep. Triangle forms the ends of it as shown. The volume is 240. Work out what h is. Well, or no, work out what h is. Yep. So we know that the area is 4h. I just don't think a lot of people would have known this in junior cert. They should. I'm not saying they shouldn't. It's just I just don't think it's up to much nowadays. 4h squared plus 16h minus 240 equals 0. That would be h squared plus 4h minus 60 equals 0. Now can I do that cheekily? 12 and 5, 20 and 3, 12 and 5, 10 and 6. There we go. So we'd say plus, so h is equal to minus 10 and h is equal to 6. Yes, that makes sense, but we can't have the 10 because h can't be a minus, so we go with 6. And I should put in centimeters. So, my goodness. The slope of this ramp is BC over AB, so it'd be 40 over 600. We have to watch out, right? So we do 40 over 600, which would be 4 over 60, which would be 2 over 30, which would be 1 over 15. The maximum is 1 over 12. Now, as a decimal, what you need to do is turn them into decimals just to make sure. So 1 over 15 as a decimal, 0.06666666. 1 over 12 would be like 8 or something. Yeah, it would be bigger. So, does this, yeah, why? Because its slope is less than 1 over 12. Yep. Find A to C. So we'd use Pythagoras, but we'd have to do 40 squared plus 600 squared, which is 1600 plus 36, well, 360,000. We add them together, we get 361,600, and we have to square root that, which I'm not going to be able to do. Yeah, it's weird, but yeah, I think they were trying to catch people out to not change the 6 into 600, but when you did, you ended up regretting it because you were kind of like, that's weird. To work out the size of the angle marked on the previous thing, so we'd have to do tan inverse of our 1 over 15 basically, because we did opposite over adjacent. Yep. So we'd have to do tan inverse of 1 over 15. Or 1 over 12, sorry. Which one was it? Actually, let me remind myself. 1 over 15, it was 1 over 15. The 12 was their number. Give your answer in degrees correct to one decimal. It would be 3.8 degrees. Work out the value of x. So we would have to say that that is opposite over hypotenuse. So we would say sin of 2.9 is equal to x over 7.5. Bring the 7.5 up and make it multiplying. So we'd say 7.5 sin 2.9. It's oh, because I did meters. Yep, that's how they get you. So we should have changed the 7.5 into 750. That makes more sense. Correct nearest centimeter would be 40 centimeters then, because it's, oh no, it wouldn't. It'd be 38. I completely just misread that. 38 centimeters. My apologies, because it was 37.9. No, work out the size of the angle A. Interesting. Interesting. So we know A has to be these two added together. I just don't think they would have got that. So if you add those two together, we get that. And for or, so that would be well, we know that's what it is. No, it's not. That's not what it is at all. We know that has to be half of 96, so it'd be 48, because it's standing on that arc. Isn't that right? 48 is half of 96. Yep. Nobody in junior cert is going to get that though. There's no chance whatsoever. Oh well. Construction did come up. Wow. Construct a triangle. So what they wanted to do was say B, just literally measure 8 centimeters right across from here and do B. Now technically they want you to do your compass, and then you put your compass at 8, do a little dash, then you would do your protractor here and get like 70 to be like here. Let's say you do like a line up this way, and then it says ABC is 50, so they want you to get the protractor here and do another thing that's like 50 degrees. So you'd go like boom 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 boom, and then just fill in the actual triangle bit. Like this is what they were aiming for, right? Yeah, you need to actually do the compass bit when you need to. Oh boy. Radius of OR. This is the net of the curved surface of the cylinder with a diagonal of 3.76. Use this to find the value of OR. Well, we know that the bit along the top here would be 2 pi OR maybe. And then we know that means this guy here is going to be 2 pi OR. We know this guy here is 24. So probably Pythagoras' theorem again. But what I will do is I would say 37.6 squared is equal to 24 squared plus x squared. Now I can't do that in my head. 37.6 squared. Be 1413.76. 24 squared. I would normally do that, but I don't want to fuck it up. 576 plus x squared. Bring that over, make it a minus. You get 837.76 equals x squared. Square root that. Ooh. Now I'm going to say 28.9441 is what x is, but x is equal to 2 pi OR. So to get OR on its own, I'm going to divide this by 2 pi. So divide by 2 pi. Correct to one decimal place, it'd be 4.6 centimeters is OR. Everything I did there is legitimate. I'm going to stand by it. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, had to go for a piss. But I had a look at my phone, and all of the Leaving Cert honours are given out about it. The junior certs are given out about it too. I can kind of see that there was a lot of like things that would have been more old school, and they tried to move away from it, but I think they regretted it, and now they're moving back. But the teachers still have to figure that out and catch up and try teaching that from now on. They kind of tried to adapt us to the new things, but the junior cert just wasn't working, I think, and they went back. That's what I think. That might be wrong. They might have just had a blip and it'll go back into the weird shit. But I think after COVID, they tried crazy stuff and it just never worked out for them. Now we're going to do Leaving Cert Ordinary. I'm going to have a look at it, but I have to figure out how to unpause this. Yeah. Oh. There we go. Leaving Cert Ordinary. Okay, now I'll zoom in. Find the total cost, so we just add them together. Okay, that's not bad. 28.90 multiplied by 12%. Well, I should have added that. Okay. All right. So actually, what I shouldn't have done is multiply by 12%. I should have multiplied by 112%. But I'm having difficulties with that. Yeah, so if I multiply by 112%, it should be 7112. Does that sound right? I fucked up something on the calculator, but that's what I should do. Add them together, multiply by 112%. He buys a car for 22,600. It depreciates by 18% each year. So how much would it be after 1 year? So we would multiply it by 82%. It's how much does it depreciate by, not how much is it worth. Okay. That might have caught some people, so it's actually 4,068 is the answer there, because that's how much it goes down by, how much it depreciates by. What's the value of the car after 2 years? This is there to get you. They're swapping it back and forth. So we'd have to do it twice. There's a formula for it, but apparently after 2 years it should be this, is what the calculator is telling me. You would use the formula like this. P would be the 22,600, 0.82, well 0.18, sorry, would be the I did it slightly differently, and then T would be the 2. They did a question like this before. I did this with someone the other day, but the old one was easier. So we know the machine was this at the end. Okay. We know it was this at the start. We know it was 1 minus k over 100 to the power of 2. So we divide this by 28 and then do the square root. You could have also done power of a half on that, and then we would minus 1 from it. I'll do all that. Sorry, I'm trying to do too much at once. Made a mistake. There we go. We'd end up with minus 3 over 20 equals minus k over 100. Both of them become pluses. Multiply by 100 instead of dividing over here, and we'd say 15 equals k, which seems quite high. So let me just put it in to make sure. So 28,000. 1 minus 0.1. I suppose it's not too bad actually compared to what they had in the previous one. Yeah, okay, let's chill. Beautiful algebra. Let's go. 9x squared minus 30x plus 25 plus 4x plus 6. We add the like terms, we got 9x squared minus 26x plus 31. Solve this minus b formula, not too bad. 4 plus the square root of, minus 4, 3 bracket minus 5. Yep, and then we'd have 2 bracket 3 on the bottom. Now it's set to 2 decimal places, so we'd say 2.12. And we would say minus 0.79. Oh, okay, so I did do this with people. So that's going to be 5x minus 15 minus 5x minus 15 all over x plus 3. Now, I didn't do it actually with letters on the bottom. Maybe that's one thing I should have done better. They would cancel. We left with minus 30 equals to the 6. Now we'd bring those up and instead multiply them on this side. Multiply those two together, you get x squared minus 9, which is 6x squared, because the two middle bits cancel out. Oh dear. So we get 6x squared. Oh, okay. That's not as bad. I get, well, hmm. As the x's cancel out over there, they also cancel out over here, so we're just going to get x squared. So we'd end up with x squared is equal to 4. So x is equal to plus or minus 2. Would people in ordinary level have known to do that? I suppose they could have done the minus b formula and treated b as 0. Let me make sure that makes sense. If I sub in 2, I'd have gotten 1 plus 5, which is 6. If I sub in minus 2, yeah, I guess, yeah. Just seems weird for them to do that in ordinary level, to be honest with you. Making bread, she prepares 2,200 grams. For every 500, she needs to bake it for 25. Work out how many minutes it takes to bake the bread. So we have to do 110 minutes. Alright, just because 500 by 4 is 2,000, and then 200 is a 2/5. 2/5 is 25. Right, 150 is a product of its prime, or 140. I don't know if they realize that your calculators can just do this. If you just press it, it just tells you it's 2 squared times 5 times 7. Right, two factors. You see, again, I think we've fallen into a lull of not teaching certain things to certain people, and they're trying to catch you out with that. And so, always find the value of p and the value of or. Yeah, so there's a couple of ways of doing it. In my mind, this is the quickest, easiest, without having to actually think about it. X squared plus 4x minus 21. So p would be 4, and then o would be minus 21. Yeah, because it would be 9 and 12 minus 21. And then that would be 49, 28. Yeah, minus 28. There we go. Yeah, that's chill. Complex numbers. Z1 is going to be minus 2 plus 3i. Z2 is going to be 4 plus I, or 1i. That would have been okay. Find the value of the following thing. We'd say 2i minus I squared plus 2i squared minus. Now, I'm going to leave it as I squared I. A lot of people wouldn't have, they would have just done I cubed. You could have actually just changed that to minus 1 first and just multiplied minus 1 into it. So that would be plus 1 minus 2 plus I. We would say 3i minus 1, or minus 1 plus 3i if you want to be pedantic about it. Yeah, unusual question in ordinary level, but yeah, not unheard of. Not unheard of. The complex number U is shown here. The 4 other complex numbers A, B, C, D are shown. The diagram is drawn to scale. Unusual. Use this diagram to answer the next parts. Write one possible complex number that U could be. I would say maybe like 1 plus 3i, perhaps. And plot and label U conjugate, which would just be directly underneath it, but the gap from here to here has to be the same as here to here, and we need to put that in. Which of these is equal to, I would say, C, because the real numbers get added and just kind of doubled. So from here to here doubles from here to here, but the imaginaries cancel. So here we're adding on 5, so 27, 32, 37. Write an expression for this. We would say 12 plus n minus 1 times 5. So we'd end up with 5n plus 7. Yeah. Hence otherwise find t20. So that would be 107. Find the value of x. So we know from here to here is the same as from here to here. The gap between there and there is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So x would be 1. Another arithmetic sequence would be this. The first n terms are added so that the sum is less than 0. Now you could just keep doing that out, but I think they wanted you to do the Sn formula, which would be 43 plus n minus 1 times minus 4. The minus might have thrown people, to be honest with you. That should be 2a, shouldn't it? So that should be 86. So inside there we'd have 86 minus 4n plus 4, which is 90 minus 4n, but we still have to multiply that by the n over 2. The way that works out, you'd get 45n minus 2n squared. And they want it to be less than 0, so I'm going to find out when it's equal to 0. Now you could do the minus b formula there. You'd get n equals 0 and n equals 22.5. So then n would have to be 23. I think I did everything right there. But, you know, maybe not. Half that, multiply by n. The minus b should give you 0 on 22.5. Should do. G4 would be 5. Find the value of x, so that would be 4. No, it wouldn't. I did that backwards. I was doing it backwards. My apologies. Let me make sure then I didn't fuck this one up. Sub in 4, that would be 8. Take away 3, grand. Sub in something to get 11, so it'd be 4. So it'd be 7. Sorry, I was doing the plus 3 instead of a minus 3. So 7, because then we'd say 2 7s is 14. Take away the 3. The function is to find this. Find h dash x. I did do this with them the other day. 6x minus 2. Hence find the coordinates of the local minimums. You put it equal to 0. You'd say x is equal to a third. Now you'd need to find out the y. So you'd throw it back in there. You'd get 1 over 3 minus 2 over 3 plus 1. And if you do that, you would get 2 over 3. I think. Yeah, the 3 diagrams below show the graphs 3 linear. One of these is for the thing. So we would say it's definitely not this one because it has to hit 0 like roughly here. So here or here, that's grand. Here the slopes are all positive, so it needs to be above. So we would say C. Justification. Slopes are increasing. So increasing. And the original has a minimum for a positive x value when x is greater than 0. Yeah. Oh my fucking god. He took a bus from the table above and arrived in Waterford between 18 and 21. Between 6 and 9. This was reading a bus timetable. Where's Waterford? It's at the very bottom. So if you arrived there between 6 and 9, it had to have been bus D. Right, the 8:30. I'm not losing my mind. Work out how long it takes for bus B to travel from Dublin Airport to Waterford. So it'll be 3 hours and 10 minutes. Because it's up to 11, it'd be 10 minutes. 3 hours, 10 minutes. Is that okay? From Dublin Airport to Waterford bus station. Yeah. In the table, T, oh my god, represents the time from the bus E arrives at, okay, if it takes bus E 3 minutes less to travel from Royal Oak to Gowran than it does to travel from Gowran to Thomastown. So 3 minutes less. So the gap between here and here is 21. Yeah, 21. So if we split that in half, it would be 10.5. So we'd say 9 and 12. So it should take 9 minutes. So this should be 33, right? And then 12 minutes. Yeah. So it should be 21:33. Because then it would be 3 minutes less. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, fuck. I should have stopped the timer. It takes 3 minutes less. So if it was 33, it'd take 9 minutes and then 12. Oh my goodness. So here it's simultaneous equations in disguise. 3x plus 4y equals 144. 2x plus y equals 71. Multiply the whole bottom line by minus 4. We would get 3x plus 4y equals 144. Fine, but the bottom one would be minus 8x minus 4y equals minus 284. Then this would be minus 5x equals to minus 140. But we divide both sides by minus 5 and we figure out that x is equal to 28. But then we sub it back in, and x is 28, that's 56, and then y would have to be 15. That would be 60. That would be 60, and that would be 84. So that makes sense. 24 and 15. Taxes, sick. Net annual tax and net annual. So he only earns this much. So we'd find out what 20% of that is, and that would be 7,520. 7,520. Let me just make sure that's 7. That's 5. That's 2. Tax credits, so we take away 4,000 though, and his net annual would be 3,520, and his net annual pay, we take that away from there, and we would get 3,480. Yeah, yep. Shay has a gross annual. Okay, so it would be 8,800 for the first one, but then it would be 19,400 multiplied by 40% for the second one. I suppose while I'm here, I should just, while I'm on my calculator, just make sure that that other number was correct. Yep. So we'd say we'd add those together, but we're going to take away the tax credit of 4,000. So his net annual tax, or Shay, I think so, he would be this. That's 12,560, by the way. Net annual tax of 17,000. Wow, okay. Her tax credits were 4,000, so that means that her tax bill would have been 21,000 before tax credits. That would have included the 8,800 from the first one, so we take that away. We get 12,000, so that's how much taxes she was paying for the second one. So that means that is 40%. So I would half that to get 6,1, and then multiply by 5 to get the full amount. 6,1 would be 35, but that's added to the 44,000. So 74,500 should be her gross annual. Oh my goodness. Okay, you're gonna have to give me a split second to do table mode here. corrected nearest whole number. Okay, that makes sense then. 25, that would be 34, that would be 55, that would be 84, 115, 140 and 155, sorry. 152. Draw this on here, so we'd say 25 is like there, 34 would be like here, 55 be like here, 84, so that'd be 90, so 84 would be like here, 115, oh no, it's a, yeah, 115, yep, 5 is 140, so it'd be like this, 6 is 155, so it'd be like here, and 7 would be 152, so like here, so it would kind of look like, oopsie daisies, something like this. User graph to estimate that it was needed for monthly of 100,000. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe like 3.4. My graph isn't perfect, so it might, if you did it better, it might look closer to 3.5. I don't know if that's what they were intending, but use calculus to find the value that gives the maximum. Okay, so minus 3x squared plus, that would be 19.2x. The 25 disappears, we put it equal to 0. Now you could do the minus b again, but it works out that x is 0. Is that, did I type that in right earlier? I did. It'd be 0, and then we divide that by 3, and we would get 6.2. Now, oh, that's just it then. But the problem is, which one gives us the maximum? If we sub in 0, we'd get 25. If we sub in 6.2, we would clearly get a number that's like 150 something, right? 150-ish. So this is the x value. Use calculus to find the value of x to give us the maximum monthly sales according to that. Yes, that's what we did. Perfect, yeah. Sales team spent 5,000 on advertising one particular month, and the actual sales were 1,125. Using the relevant value from the table in the previous, find the percentage error. So we'd go up to the 5 and we'd say it's 140 was what we guessed, but it was 125, so that's an error of 15,000. The real amount was this number. All those zeros would cancel out. Divide by 5, we would get 3 over 25. Multiply that by 100 and then we'd get 12%. Oh Christ, okay. Why would they do it like this? This is so bizarre. I can see why they would do it, I'm just being annoyed. So yeah, it's just a weird way of doing it. They wanted you to kind of say 15 times 39 plus 2 times 39 times 5. Whoops, I'm still in table mode. So 15 times 39, and we add 390 to that. Get 975. Rearrange it to write or in terms of p, h, and t. Now that's going to be annoying in ordinary level because a lot of people wouldn't cop that they had to do this bit first and then have it as p over h plus 2t equals or. The hourly rate has increased the next week. He's paid a total of 8,950 for working 35 hours and 8 overtime. Okay, so which one? H was the number of, was the normal rate, or normal number of hours, sorry, and T is the number of overtime hours. So they wanted you to reuse this, but they wanted you to do 8,950 on top. Instead of H we do 35, instead of T we do 8. And I think then we just type that in. immediately cleared it. 17.50 would be the hourly rate then. Running. Find how many seconds it does to do one set. Is that not just add all these tens together? Just 80? Like, is that what we're doing here? Find the distance in meters that he runs. So you'd add these numbers together. That would be 79, 113. I have to add those together. I'm not going to trust myself. I'm at that stage. 164. Keeps repeating the set above. Find the total distance Dean will have run after 7 minutes. Okay. Alright. Well, 7 minutes times 60 is 420 seconds. Now, 8 doesn't go into 420. It goes into 400. 5 times. So he'll have done this distance 5 times, which means he'll have done 820 meters. And then he'll have done the first 20 seconds of the next loop, so it means he'll add 38. I'm going to say 858 meters. 7 minutes, 60 seconds, 420, 80 seconds for the full thing, assuming he's resting. I think that's what the question's asking me. He keeps repeating the set above, yeah. Oh, good. The entry fee is €80, £80 per person, with a carbon offset levy of 145. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Work out the exchange rate. Okay, now they did a question like this before a couple of years ago. Well, a few years ago, it was before COVID, but it wasn't this intense. Is the 145 thing a real thing? Like, that's not just for the... So for each person, it's €80 to do the race and 145 euro, or well, pounds, but 145 pounds to just get into it. So that's 225 for each of them, and there's 4 of them, so I multiply it by 4. So it's saying £900. So it's saying this much euro is equal to £900. Yeah, and then to make the euro side 1, we have to divide by 1020, so we have to do that over here as well. So I'm going to just do 900 divided by 1020. Ooh, corrected 3 decimal places. What a bizarre world we live in. Completes a 5 kilometer run in 25 minutes. Work out our average speed for the kilometer thing, but it wants it in meters per second, so we need to change that 5 into 5,000. So we're doing that city triangle, so distance over time, but we're going to do, instead of 25 minutes, it wants it per second, so we're going to do 25 multiplied by 60, which is 1,500, which would be 50 over 15. I can do that on a good day, but I'm going to say it is 3.3 meters per second, correct to 1 decimal place. 25 times 60, yep. 5 into 5,000, yep. The length of the walkway is 4.8. When a person reaches at the point B, they must again go back to start. Okay. When a person reaches point B, then okay. Kayla and Olor? I have no idea. Both leave the point A at the same time. She's running 2 times as fast as he is walking, and they both move at a constant speed. When she reaches point B, how far will he have walked? 2.4 kilometers, right? She's going twice as fast. I'm assuming it gets spicier than that. Work out the distance Olar will have walked from A in kilometers when he meets Kayla as she's running back along the walkway from B to A. Wow. Okay, so he's going to be here, and then she's going to be here, and then she's going to turn around. But she's gone twice as fast, so she's going to cover twice as much distance as he is, so it'll be a third of the way. So this is 2.4 split into thirds, be 0.8. Add that to 2.4, so it'll be 3.2 kilometers. Yeah, I think so. Oh, and that was it. Okay. Alright. Just the cross section of a ladder and top of a child's slide. A, B, and C are points on the slide. Surely the ladder part. No, what am I missing? The slide is on a horizontal ground, which is the x-axis. Each unit is a meter. The ladder labelled L goes from A to B. Yeah, okay. The top of the slide goes from B to C. You will draw the down part. Okay. Write down the height of the slide in meters. Just 2? Did they tell us each thing was a meter? Yeah, each unit is 1 meter. Okay. Write down the length of the top of the slide, that is the distance from B to C. So it would be 40 centimeters. Okay. Alright, and explain what it means in this context. Oh, find it. So if we do that, it would just be 2.5. What does it mean? It just means that the slope is 2.5. So for every centimeter it goes across, it goes 2.5 centimeters up. That's what they want written there in English, not necessarily in a diagram. But that's what that means. And you notice every time it goes across. Now the boxes aren't done in the same going across, right? So that could be confusing. But for every 1 meter, so if it goes from -1 to 0, so it starts like here, we'll say, and goes across, it should go up 2. It's very hard to show that on this diagram, but yeah. Not 2, sorry, I get some of my numbers wrong. For every 1 across, it should go 2.5 up, not 2. Yeah, okay. For the ladder, though, is that what it was? From A to B. Yeah, okay, it just means, yeah, okay, that's the kind of the slant the ladder is at. Alright. Table mode again? Really? Okay. I feel like you'd be happy to see this if you were doing it. Well, yeah, maybe. Start would be 0, end would be 1.6, but my step would be 0.2. And then we'd have 2, no, it says correct 2 decimal places, so 1.05, 0.76, 55, 0.4, 0.29, and 0.21. Oh my goodness, lads, I can't keep shooting. Oh no, I have it on my calculator. I can. Fuck. Okay. So when it's 0, it should be at a height of 2, which is correct. 0.2, what did I say? 145. So I'm going to say here. And then I'm going to say 105. 1.05 should be here. 0.76 should be here-ish. 5.5 would be here. 0.4, nice and easy. 2.9 should be like here. 2.1 should be like here. And then that should be 1.5, so it would be like here. And then they'd want you to join them together. Now, again, it's not perfect the way I'm doing it. That's not bad. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. That's not bad. That's the first bit I'm actually okay with. Oh, that was it. Another slide has 2 restrictions. All children using this slide must be at least 95 centimeters tall. So that means that your H has to be like that. Now, I would do the equals because it says at least, which means including the 95 or more. Now, it says it's a real number. So we would do a circle on the 95, but we'd colour it in. And we would do the line for all the numbers bigger than 95. At least 4, but younger than. So we would say including 4, but not including 12. And how do we do that? Well, it says on OR again. So we do an empty circle. No, we do a full circle on the 4, an empty circle on the 12, and then a line between them. Oh my goodness, it takes 4 employees 13 hours working together to make a slide. So that would imply that there's 52 hours of work needed. On a particular day, the 4 employees work together for 2 hours to make a slide. So there should be 52. Then they did 8 hours. So that's 8 hours of the 52 done. So that would be 44 hours left. Then there's 3 lads that have it split between them. So we divide that by 3, which doesn't go evenly, but that's what they wanted because they said assume or give your answers in hour and minutes. So if I go back into calculator mode and do 44 divided by 3, Now, there's a special button on your calculator that you can press, and when you do that, it says that is 14 hours, 40 minutes. Does that make sense? Because 14 by 3 would be 42, and then 3 40s would be another 2. Yep. Okay. Okay. Chill. Chill. One of my third years apparently was given the ordinary one when she's not supposed to. So she missed 10 minutes. That's good. That's always good to hear. I would say it was quite difficult. All of them are quite difficult so far, and the honours one is only apparently going to get worse. So we'll see. Okay. Yeah. So again, if I remember quite. I don't mean difficult, but it's certainly there's. It's look, they're going back to the old junior certain leave cert exams from the 3 I've done so far. So it's not that the stuff is weirdly too hard, it's just stuff that you wouldn't have been expecting, because the teachers and myself, I guess, would have been more so trying to teach you based on what they've been hitting people with exams over the past few years since COVID. And this was just more kind of old school so far. Now, I'm obviously going to be doing this honours one now, and this is apparently the worst thing ever imaginable, but I'll have a look. We'll see. But yeah, should be fun. Should be fun. Let me just have a look at something. Cool. Okay, so how do I get this starting again? I have to hit this, then that. So let's see how this went. Okay. Alright, well, at least there's algebra at the start, like we're used to, so that's not too bad. I'll have to hit my 6 years and say it's not too bad. You bring the 1 over, make it a minus, so we'd end up with 4. We'd square both sides. We get 16 is equal to a plus 7. We'd say a is equal to 9. Is that it? What's going on? What have I missed? Solve a has to be greater than or equal to minus 7. Yeah, okay. Is that it? What would it... Okay, it must get so much harder than this. There's no way. 5 take away 1 is 4. Square root, you get 16. You get a plus 7 without the square root. You bring 7 over, make it a minus. Rearrange the following to write n, or to write p in terms of n and s. A couple of ways of doing it. I would bring the 1 over n. Yeah, I'd bring it over, make it a minus. So we'd have 3 over s minus 1 over n. I'd morph these together into a single fraction, which would be 3n minus s over sn. Because then we can kind of ignore them. Now, I wouldn't advise you writing like that in your exam, but if you have fraction equal to a fraction, you can flip them both upside down. So p over 2 is equal to sn over 3n minus s, and then multiply both sides by 2. So p would be equal to 2sn over 3n minus s. Is that right? 1 minus n, I said s, 3n minus s, flipsy daisies, multiply both sides by 2, yeah? That is a factor of this. Using this factor, otherwise solve the equation. Well, so if that's a factor, I can do the minus b on that, because I need 3 things. It's just factor theorem phrased differently. So there's 2 factors in there, and I know the third one then would have to be 4x plus minus 5, sorry. So that would be my third one. So if I multiply that into here, I would get 8x cubed plus 30. So one of them straight away is 5 over 4. Now, if can I do this without having to do the minus b formula? Just might be easier for me. we would say, well, if we do it equals to 0, we can divide everything by 2, which gives me this, and we'd say x equals minus 3 and x equals 1. Whoops. Is that right? Then that would be 1 plus 2 minus 3. That would be 9 minus 6 minus 3. Yeah, 1 and minus 3. Okay, question 1 is quite nice. Quite nice. Okay, so we would say that's 4 plus 0.36 plus 0.0036 plus 0.000036. So we're going to leave out the 4 for the moment, but we would say all of this is an Sn formula, where, well, S infinity formula, sorry, which is a over 1 minus or. A would be 0.361 minus or would be 1 over 100. So, see, I don't know. I think your calculator can just do this. This isn't, I know I'm trying to do a speed run thing here, but I'm just kind of getting sidetracked to what's the maths they're doing. I don't know. So it ended up being 4 plus 4 over 11, which is 48 over 11. And we can check that by doing 48 over 11. And it is that. Okay. I think, though, if we do, let me see if we can type that in there. And then do... Yeah, your calculator can just do that straight away. I don't think they didn't realize that. They need to fix that. Raya is taking out a loan. The annual thing is 8.4. Shut this equivalent to a monthly. Okay, so I would say 1 plus 0.084 to the power of 1 is equal to 1 times 1 plus or to the power of 12. Bring the thing over, have the 12th root. It eventually becomes the 12th root of 1.084 minus 1 is equal to or. And if I do that, yeah, or would be 0.006744, we'll say. And then multiplying that by 100 would be 0.6744, but to 2 decimal places would be 0.67%. 67, hilarious. Raya's loan is for 14,000. To pay off the loan, she makes equal repayments each month for 5 years, so that's 60 repayments. She makes the first one 1 month after she takes out the loan. That makes sense. Find the amount of each repayment Raya makes, corrected nearest cent. So we don't know what A is. Oh, and hence find out the total interest that Raya paid. That's interesting. I don't think they've ever done that before. So we know that the first one she pays is A, and that would be over 1.0067 to the power of 1. Now, we could just use amortization, actually. I might be being silly here. So we could do this and do that all the way until we have A over 1.0067 to the power of 60. And we could do an SN formula, but we could just also use... Where is it? The amortization. Either way, it's just a bit chunky, but that's okay. Oh, I don't know if I can copy and paste onto here, though, can I? No. Okay, I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way, I guess. So I would say that over 1.0067 1 minus or is what it is to the power of n. Or is 1 over 1.0067 to the power of 60 over 1 minus 1 over 1.0067, and that should be equal to 14,000. I'm not going to tell you how I do all this. It's fine. I'm just going to do this myself. If you'll allow me. Divide that by 1 minus 1 over 7 to the power of 60, like so, and then multiply by 1.0067. So what does she want? They want correct the nearest cent. So I found out A is equal to 284.14. Now it says total interest, so you'll notice she's doing that for per month, which is 60 months. So I'm going to multiply that by 60. Well, hold on, let me do that. 284.14 by 60. And that would be 17048 and 40 cent. But you'll notice that she only took out 14,000, so that means she paid €3,048 and 40 cent in interest. Product rule, but it does say use the product rule, which is strange. But the product rule is du dx by v, so it'd be 14x multiplied by the cost 3x plus the 7x squared multiplied by cos. I know it turns to sine, but is it plus or minus? I can never remember. So when we differentiate cos, it goes to minus sine. So that should be, I'm going to skip a step here, that should be minus 21 sine 3x. And then it says find f dash pi, so just type literally all that into your calculator. Oh, that's going to be so gnarly though. Let me think. Well, I need to be in radians first, how much I know. So if we do, let's just do one at a time actually. 14 pi, and then we would do cos of 3 pi. Whoops, 3 pi. So that would be minus 14 pi. And then we would do minus 21. Now pi squared, I'm just going to leave as pi squared. I'm going to do that myself and just do sine of 3 pi, which is 0. Okay, well fuck the pi squared then. I suppose it doesn't matter. That's the answer. Function has the following. Oh, the function. Another one. Okay, has the second derivative. Slope of the tangent to the curve at this point is minus 2. Now, in fairness, I didn't do that with them, but it does say by integrating. So if you integrate that, you would get g dash x. You'd get g dash x is equal to 15x squared minus 18x plus c. And we don't know what c is, but they told us that the slope is minus 2. So that means every time we sub in minus 1 everywhere we see x, like this, we should get minus 2 as an answer. That would be 15 plus 18, which is 33. Bring that over and make it minus. So c is minus 35. 15. Yep. So that's what c is. So now I can say that g dash x is actually 15x squared minus 18x minus 35. But oh, that's just the answer for down here. Sorry, right? That's this one. I was looking at the next one. It says hence find an expression in x for gx. So you notice we have to integrate it again because that's g dash x. So that they differentiated gx to get that. So we're going to integrate it. If we integrate it again, it's going to become 5x cubed minus 9x squared minus 35x plus c again, right? We can say gx is equal to this. You get a lot of attempt marks, I'd say, for getting to that part. But this time it says that every time we sub in minus 1, we should get 8 because it's the y value, and gx is the y value up here. We got minus 2 because g dash x isn't the y value, it's the slope. So that means we should say 8 is equal to 5 times minus 1 cubed minus 9 times minus 1 squared minus 35 times minus 1 plus c. That's going to be 8, that's going to be minus 5, that's going to be minus 9, that's going to be plus 35, that's going to be minus 14 plus 21, so that's going to be 8 equals 21 plus c. So that means minus 13 is equal to c, I think, if I've done all the numbers right. The idea is right, the numbers, I think, are right. Minus 5, minus 9, plus 35. Yeah, I think so. And then what we would do down here is just write the 5x cubed minus 9x squared minus 35x minus 13. Okay, I can understand. That one's not too bad, but I can understand why my lads wouldn't have been able to necessarily. They would have been okay. They would have been okay doing the integration. You don't get C, but you can just guess it. And then you'll get a lot of marks for the second part. U is this complex number. U bar is this. Write this. I don't know. They were saying this was awful, but We'll see. So this should have been 3 plus 7i instead of the conjugate, and this would have been 5i multiplied by u, which is 3 minus 7i. That would have been 6 plus 14i plus 15i plus 35, because it would have been minus 35i squared, but I changed it. And then we add like terms, we get 41 plus 29i. Use de Moivre's theorem to find the value of this. Ooh, that's not bad. That's okay. 3 is here, minus root 3 is down here somewhere. So we know we're in the fourth quadrant. I'm going to do Pythagoras with 3 and root 3. And that's going to be 9 plus 3, which is 12, equals c squared. So we can say or is equal to the square root of 12, which is 2 root 3. And then I'm going to do tan inverse of root 3 over 3. Now I'm going to change my calculator back into degrees. There's no real rule for that. I just want to, you know. I'm having a good time. Just having a good time. That would be 30, but we're in the fourth quadrant, so we need to say that actually theta is 330. So we would say in polar form, it's 2 root 3 cos 330 plus I sine 330. And then we put that to the power of 8, but that means we put this to the power of 8, so we'd have 2 root 3 to the power of 8. Like that. The brackets are important. I know I kind of scuffed it a bit, but it's important. This would be 2640 if we multiply it by 8. Now that would be that's going to be a fucking massive number, no? It's going to be 2 root 3 to the power of 8. Yeah, it's fucking huge. I did do it right. 9 and 3 is 12. Square root of 12. Yep. Square root of 12 is definitely 2 root 3. Yes. Yep. So, okay. It's fucking this. And then cos of 2640 is minus a half. And then we replace it with sin, and we get root 3 over 2. And then multiply that by 2736. Wow, okay, it did not like that. 2736 divided by 2. So the first one would be minus 10368, and this would be plus 10368 root 3i. Bizarre. It's okay. It's all right. This one might be tricky. For these two numbers, the modulus of w is 5. Okay, but that just means a is 5, no? V times w is 15. So that means we'd say a times b, which is 5 times b, would be multiplied by cos of 160 plus theta. Plus I sine. Now that's annoying. I can understand why people would be annoyed by that, because that's using an idea behind de Moivre's theorem that we don't really always go in depth into it with you. So that'd be minus 15, right? So how we get minus 15? Well, this guy has to be a 0 somehow. And in order to get a 0 there, it has to be 0 or 180. So I would imagine theta, let's say theta is 20. Alright, so if theta is 20, that's sine of 180. And if you do sine of 180, let me just clarify that I'm not talking nonsense. Sine of 180 is 0. Yeah. So that fucks off. And then cos of 180 is 1. Minus 1, minus 1. So that's minus 1. So then it would be 5b minus 1 plus 0i is equal to minus 15. But then b would just have to be 3. Whoops, that should be a 0, not a theta. That's 20. So yeah, I think that's fine. I think that idea of adding the things in there is bizarre. The modulus being 5 is bizarre, because even I was like, is that just it? Adding these two things together, people just would not have spotted that. I'm not going to judge them too harshly for that. Write each of the following in this. That would be 4 to the power of 3. That would be 4 to the power of minus 2. And that would be 4 to the power of a half. You kind of know those or you don't. Your calculator can't do that. Yeah. The Venn diagram is here. All integer multiples. Holy shit. All numbers can be written as 4m, as in A. B is all numbers can be written as 4 to the power of or. And or/q is the set of irrational numbers. Oi. Yeah, what about it? Oh, okay, this isn't as bad. Write each of the following numbers into the correct region. So 1 has to go in here, right? Because it doesn't fit in 4m, right? For where m is a natural number. I'm assuming that's what they said. Where m is an integer. Sure, yeah. But it also is not an irrational number. 12 can't be 4 to the power of 4. And again, I'm assuming or has to be a fraction. Yeah. Let me just make sure that's true. I'm fairly certain it is. Yeah, no, I think that's irrational as opposed to rational. So I don't think it can go in 4 or. I think 12 has to belong here. Yeah, because my calculator isn't changing. Don't worry about what I'm saying there. That's just gibberish. You guys don't care. I'm going to say this is where root 2 belongs, because technically it's irrational, but you could also say it's 4 to the power of a quarter, I think. Let me just type that in to make sure that's correct. Yes, I think it's fine. I think I'm right, but the calculator doesn't like it. The square root of 3 is going to be here. 1 over 16 is going to be here, because that would be 4 to the power of minus 2. But it can't be 4 to the multiplied by anything, and it can't be an irrational number. And then 64 is in here, because it'd be 4 to the power of 3 or 4 multiplied by 16. Write down one element. Oh my god! Write down one element in or that is not in any of these. There's not an A, B, or D. Do not use any of them from part B, part I. So it can't be an irrational number. So it has to be a rational number that is just not a multiple of 4 or 4 to the power. So like just 3. 3 is a rational number. Can't be 4 to the power of, can't be 4m. So yeah, I think it's just like that, maybe. For some real number, 4 to the power of k is equal to 9. But it might not be an irrational, or it might not be irrational. That's why we can't use it above. Find the value of k. So what I would do is I'd say log small 4 big 9. Now they wanted log base 3 though, so I'm going to use my change of base formula, and I'm going to say that's log 3. I think this is the right way. I'm going to check now in a second. No, it's probably the other way around, isn't it? It's going to be 9 on top of 4 on the bottom, and then that would change to 2 over log 3 4. Let me see. Well, I can just check here. I don't need to fiddle around with it. The base goes on the bottom. Base goes on the bottom. Yeah, I think that's fine. Proof by induction. I told them, I warned them justly. So we would say, now n has to be greater than or equal to 7. So we'd have to say when n is equal to 7, 7 factorial is greater than 3 to the power of 7. Well, 7 factorial, as we all know, 5040. And then 3 to the power of 7, 2187. So that is true. When n equals k, we would say 7. No, we wouldn't. We'd say k factorial is greater than 3 to the power of k, and we're going to say assume this is true. Then we're going to do k plus 1. And we're going to say k plus 1 factorial is greater than 3 to the power of k plus 1. That's what we're trying to prove is true. Now what we can do is we can say k plus 1 factorial is going to be k plus 1 multiplied by k factorial. But k factorial is this guy, so we know that's greater than k plus 1, 3 to the power of k. And we just need to prove that that is greater than 3 to the power of k plus 1. But that is 3 to the power of k multiplied by 3. So we're trying to prove that k plus 1, 3k is greater than that. But the 3 to the power of k is kind of cancel. And is k plus 1 greater than 3? Yeah, because we can only sub in a number that's 7 or greater for this. So yes, that is true. But that means that is true. And that means that we've shown that it works for all things. So we would say works for 7 if k... Now you need to put a little more sauce on this. If k, then k plus 1. Therefore works for all n... works for all n greater than or equal to 7. Solve this shit. Okay. What that works out to be is n plus 1 times n is equal to 156. And then that would be n squared plus n minus 156 equals 0. What's that going to be? 30. You can divide 6 into that 26 times, which means we can do 12 into that 13 times. So we'd have n is equal to minus 13, n is equal to 12. But we can't have a minus, so we have to go with that, right? Because we can't have minus 13 factorial. We can. Nothing wrong with that, I suppose, actually. Oh, but n has to be a natural number. Haha. You guys, you thought you had me. You thought you had me. Yes, that's a geometric sequence. First term is less than 2. The sum of the first is 2. The sum of the first 3 is less than 2 again. Whoa. Find one possible geometric sequence for which this is true. Well, or would just have to be a minus, I'm assuming. Did they put any conditions on it that it can't be a minus? They didn't say. Okay. This is kind of a dick question, though. I'm not going to lie to you. But, like, technically... Well, no, that wouldn't work. Let me think now. I think I think the only way we could do it is so like what I'm trying to do is something like this. Let's say our first term is minus a half, and then we're multiplying by minus 5. So our second term would be plus 2.5, and this is 0.5. I should do it that way instead, minus 0.5. Because then if we add those two, we would get 2. So that's that one fine and that one fine. But if we multiplied it by minus 5 again, we would get minus 12.5. And then if we add our first, second, and third one, we would also get a number that's smaller than 2. And for my value, okay, so yeah, I'm going to say minus 0.5, 2.5, minus 12.5. I could see that being a bastard of a thing for you guys to be doing. And that would be minus 10.5 if I add all three of them together, I think. Because it would be minus 13, putting those two and add 2.5. Yeah, I can see that being a bitch. But the short questions, I do not think were that bad. They were not that unholy. Some difficult ones, but you only have to do 5, and no one's expecting you to get full correct everything. So over a 4-minute period, the volume of the water in the tank can be this. T is time in seconds. So after 1 minute, you have to sub in 60 everywhere you see T. That's a lot of typing in on the calculator is the big issue, but spotting that it was 60 was probably an issue as well for a lot of people. You'd still get marks for subbing in 1, just not as many, but like, don't fucking beat yourself up over this shit. 60 plus 6, 8, 900. And I think if I type that in all correctly, it's 74948 centimeters cubed. Yep. Use differentiation to find the rate at which the volume of the water in the tank is changing after 150 seconds. So we're going to differentiate and then sub in. Oh, they even told you that is find dVd. Okay. So that would be 0.075 t squared minus 18t plus 550.8. And then everywhere we see t, we're going to sub in 150. So 0.075 times 150 minus 18 times 150 plus 550.8. Now I got a minus initially there and it spooked me slightly, but that's okay. It just means that we're decreasing. So we're going to say it's losing that many centimeters cubed per second. Just making sure everything is chill. T is in seconds, definitely. Subbed it in. It kind of makes sense because you're multiplying 18 by 150. The 550.8 isn't being multiplied by anything, and the 0.075 is nothing. Yeah, okay. Alright. Find the range of values for T for which the volume of the tank is decreasing. So this is an inequality question that they snuck in, because now we would say, well, this is the formula for the rate of change. And they're asking us, when is that less than 0? When is it minus? When is it decreasing? So we would do less than 0. Now, in order to do this, we're going to do the minus b formula for this, and it's going to be a shit show, but I think they're kind of expecting you in Leaving Cert Honours to be able to do this. So that would be that would be minus 4, that would be 0.075, that would be 550.8, and that would be 2 times 0.075 on the bottom. Wow, apparently you get 204 clean as one of the answers. Was not expecting it. And 36. Now the problem is, it says when is it decreasing. It's either in between those 2 times or outside of those 2 times. So I would say this is a quadratic, so it looks like that. There's my x-axis. This one's going to be 36. This one's going to be 204. When it's decreasing means when it's a slope less than 0. So it's less than 0 in between here and here. So we're going to say as long as t is in between 36 and 204, you're good to go. Yep. Immediately rates of change, right? The water in the tank is in the shape of a cylinder with a constant radius of 26 and a height of h. Ooh, it's nasty. Find dVdh and hence, or otherwise, find the rate of change of height in the water in the tank. So they're asking for dh dt, because it says with respect to time, so we're going to say dt, and after 150 means we're going to sub in 150 at the end. So they're asking us for, well, they're asking us for dVdh first. So I'll figure that out first. So the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h, but we know the radius is 26, so that's pi 26 squared h. 26 squared, I've turned my calculator off and I'm pressing nothing. So that'd be 676 pi h is what v is. Now dVdh, bizarrely, is just going to be dVdh is going to be 767 pi, because the h just drops. Now if they're asking for dh dt, so they want dh dt, and we're probably going to use the one that we have of dv dh, but we'd also need to multiply this by, oh, now we don't want to use this, we want to use this flipped, I imagine. So we get the dh on the top, so we have dh dv, so it's going to be 1 over that. What would we need to multiply that by? Well, we need to cancel out the v, so I'd say dv, and we need a dt on the bottom, so we need dv dt, which is how much the volume is changing over time, but that's what we found Here, find dvdt at this time. So it's subbed in, so that minus 21375 is actually our answer. So we're going to say 1 over 676 pi. Then here's going to be the 213795. I think that's what it was. Let me have a quick gander. So for dvdt after 150, 213795. Super autism. Let's go. Yeah, and we're just going to multiply all that together. It seems too, I'm not going to say smooth because it is very, very gnarly, but what I mean is, given how gnarly it is, it's come out quite smooth. I'm going to say minus 1.01, corrected 1 decimal place, centimeters per second. What have I gotten wrong there? Surely there's something wrong. Volume of a cylinder, they told us the radius is 26 centimeters. Is everything else in centimeters? It is, so that's fine. Then 676 67 again. I don't know if they did that on purpose. Pi h differentiated to find dvdh, which I did. 676 pi. They wanted dh/dt, find the change of the height of the water with respect to time. So they wanted dh/dt. I was going to use dv/h, but my dh's didn't match, so I had to flip it upside down. So that's where the 1 over 676 comes from. And I knew I had to have dv/dt, which would have been this mad-ass formula, but I also found out what it is after subbing in 150, and I said I was going to sub in 150 anyway, so I might as well just take that number there and multiply it. Okay. Water is poured into another container. The container C, the function C, sorry, can be used to model the rate at which the height of the water is changing in centimeters per second when its height is h. Ooh, so it's model. So C is modeling the rate at which the height. So C is dh/dt, bizarrely. So I'm going to just do that, just give myself a reminder, right? Because it's telling me that C models the rate at which the height is changing. And it says centimeters per second, so that's ht, so that's dh/dt, technically. I don't know if that's going to be important. For a particular range of values of h, so that ch is a continuous function of h and has a local minimum point. The continuous thing is weird to put in a leaving cert, but yeah, it's fine. Find the local minimum of ch. Okay. Alright. So we have to differentiate it. Yeah, and put it equal to 0. Is that it? Yeah, use differentiation in your solution. It's weird that they said that, but so we could do quotient rule, we could do chain rule. I guess I'll do quotient rule just to be, you know, cool with it. So dvd, or well, I suppose, yeah, dvdh would be multiplied by u. So, or sorry, v would be multiplied by dudh, which would be 0. So I'm just going to do the minus u multiplied by dv dh, which would be 16 pi minus 2 pi h. And then that's all over this. But we're putting it equal to 0, so none of that matters. The 20 doesn't matter. We're left with the pi's can cancel. Change to 8 minus 2h equals 0. And then we'd say h is equal to 4. But it didn't ask us for h, it asked for the minimum, so we're just going to sub that in. We're going to do c of 4. And everywhere I see h, I'm just going to put a 4 in instead. That seems, again, for how complicated it is, it worked out too smooth, in my opinion, so I must have messed something up. There's no way. There's no way. And if I put all that in, it says 0. Correct to 1 decimal place. Okay. What did I do wrong? There has to be something. Let me check that my chain or my product rule or my quotient rule, sorry, isn't backwards, isn't arseways. V by du dx would be the 20 differentiated would be 0. So the first bit I don't need. Then I'm going to move him over here actually. Then minus the top bit, which is minus 20 multiplied by the bottom bit differentiated with respect to h. Yeah. It's just weird that they said correct to one decimal place and correct to one decimal place is 0.1, but they might have done that on purpose to try to throw people off. And as you can see, I am well thrown. But I think that's okay. CH is defined for all values of H for which H is in between 0 and M. Find the biggest value that M can be. So the bottom just cannot be 0, right? So, or a minus, because water is being poured in, right? So it just can't be a minus on it. So basically I'm going to put this guy equal to 0. I can't see both pages at the same time. I should be writing this down on the other one. And we find out that means H is equal to 0, or H is equal to, you cancel out the pi's, cancel out the H's, you'd have 16. H is equal to 16, because if H was 16, yeah, then that would be 0. So we can't have it. So I'm going to say 16 for M. And if it was 17, let's say it went bigger, then you get a minus, which isn't allowed. Okay, that's okay. Rian is tuning a piano. He has an app on his phone that can measure the frequency in hertz of any note on the piano. This is nasty. For each note on the piano, Rian counts how many notes above or below he is. Rian tunes the note that is X notes above concert A to the frequency of Fx. He tunes the note that is X notes below. So if the note is 4 above, he would just sub 4 in for X. They did this in a bizarre way, but it's legit. I can see this causing issues. If it was 3 below, he'd sub in minus 3 everywhere there's an X. So it's 11 above. By setting X to 11, they even told you, because they knew it was weird, use Fx to find the frequency, correct the nearest whole number. That's not bad, because they told you. Beforehand, it was crazy. The way they have written it, I am just going to let you know now, I'm having a great time. But that is crazy. The nearest whole number would be 831. What the hell is that measured in hertz? Hertz, we'll say. That's a Z, don't judge me. Rian tunes the note that is 6 below. So we would just do it again. But it would be minus 6 over 12, which is minus a half. Which just means 440 divided by the square root of 2. Corrected 4 significant figures is crazy. Just means your first 4 numbers. But the next one would have been a 2, so I didn't round up. 6 below. Yeah, so been minus 6. That gets minus a half. The square root of power of a half is a minus. Or, oh my god. Power of a half is the square root. The minus means underneath the fraction. 440 divided by the square root of 2, yeah. Oh. 7 notes above has a frequency of approximately. Find the actual value of X for which Fx is equal to 660. So, it should be close to 7 if he's not stupid. So we'd say 440 multiplied by 2 to the power of what over 12 is equal to 660. Divide both sides by 440. We get 2 to the power of x over 12 is equal to 1.5. Then we would do log of 2. 1.5 equals x over 12. But then we bring the 12 over here and make them a multiply, and we would just do that. 12 log 2, 1.5. Correct to 2 decimal places would be 7.02, which is approximately 7. Find an expression for f dash x. You do not need to simplify your answer. Wow. Now, I was literally talking about this the other day, how it never has come up. But technically, this is a chain rule using, I'm having a great time, using this one, a to the power of x equals ax ln of a. So our a is the 2, and our x is supposedly the power, but our power is x over 12. So there's probably a quicker way of doing it, or not quick, well yeah, cheeky way of doing it. But normally, so I'm going to say that's a chain rule. So I'm going to say v is x over 12. and then u is 2 to the power of v. And then I'm going to say dv dx is 1 over 12, because you just dropped the letter, but there's still sneaky 1 here. And then du dv would be 2 to the power of v ln of 2. Is that what it was? Yeah, but the ln of 2... Yep, no, it's a thing. It's fine. And then chain rule just says multiply your answer. So we'd have the 400 has just been hanging around this whole time, but we'd have to multiply these two together. But we can't leave v. We change v back into x over 12, ln of 2. And it says we don't need to simplify our answer, so they can get fucked. G is another function that can be used to define the frequency of notes. Ooh. Oh. Using only this information, estimate the value of g of k plus 2. Sorry, I want to have a just look at this and see if my students could have done it. This probably would have been too hard. They should have been able to do A, B, and C, though. E is a whole other fucking ballpark. Estimate the value of k plus 2. I would say roughly, so it's going to be different, but we're roughly adding on 5.8 twice, so that's going to be 11.6 added on to the 197. So 197 plus 11.6 roughly. Sorry. And that would be 208.6. So that's what my guess for g of k plus 2 is. It's going to be slightly off though, because as k increases, g dash k will also be changing. Function g is in this form where a and b are positive constants. Based on this state, whether the estimate for gk plus 2 from part ei is too big or too small compared to the actual value of gk plus 2, or if we don't have enough information to be sure, I would say if a and b are positive constants, it means that, so a is just going to be a, but it means e is going to keep getting bigger as x gets bigger. So if k changes to k plus 2, that's x getting bigger, which means that the whole thing is getting bigger. The rate of change would be b multiplied by a, so g dash x. I should have done this first. I suppose g dash x should be b a e to the bx if we differentiate it. Those are two positive constants. That's just going to be a bigger positive constant. But because of the x bit, as x gets bigger, the whole thing that gets bigger. So I would say my estimate is too small, and my justification is that the slope is increasing with x. Now, I don't know what they were actually expecting people at your level to do there, but that's what I would say, that obviously it's an exponential. So the graph, I kind of assumed it was going to keep adding on 5.8 each time, but technically the graph would be slightly curved, slightly bent upwards. So that's my, yeah, I don't know what they actually want you to say. Oh, maybe helpful to draw a diagram. Maybe. It's important they say positive. I think that's fine. Each person requires either, oh, okay. There are 384 people, there are twice as many altos as there are sopranos. So we can say 2s equals a, right? That's always tricky. People sometimes write that the wrong way around. You'd need to double the amount of sopranos to get the amount of altos. There are 12 more tenors than there are basses. So we would say t is equal to b plus 12, because just, you know, you'd have to add 12 to the b. The number of sopranos plus altos is 3 times the number of t plus b. So we'd say t plus b. If we have to, we'd have to triple it to get s plus a, and all of them together, s plus a plus t plus b equals 384. This is actually a bizarre simultaneous equation with 4 letters, which is crazy behavior. What I'm going to do is, because all 4 are in here, if I multiply that out, I get 3t plus 3b equals s plus a. Now I can say s plus a. If I move the t and the b over, make them minuses, I could say, I don't know if this is going to work, by the way. This is something that you guys need to kind of get a handle on. You guys assume that, like, if you don't immediately see it, you're just not going to try it. But you notice I can't immediately see it. I'm just going to fuck around with it. That's wrong, though. I meant to write minus t and minus b. So now I can bring them over here, make them pluses. So now I can say 4t plus 4b equals 384. Can I divide them all by 4? I can. So I can change that to t plus b equals 96. But I know this, so I can actually do simultaneous equations with these two. And what that would mean is t is equal to b plus 12. So if I sub that in here, I'd end up with 2b plus 12 equals 96. Bring that over, make it 84. Divide by 2. B is 42. So that's 1. But then that means that t is 54, sorry, because we have to add on 12 to whatever b is. So we know what t and b are. So now we can change this guy. So the t and the b added together would be 96. Yes, so we can, instead of having t and b here, take them over and take away 96. So we can change that to s plus a is equal to 384 take away 96 would be 284, but add on 4, so 288. And now I can do simultaneous equation with this one, because I know a is 2s, so that could be 3s is equal to 288. And then I divide everything by 3, and s is equal to 96. But then that would mean that a is equal to double that, so 192. Now, let me just add all these together and just see if that actually makes a lick of fucking sense. Having a great time, though. Oh, it does. They all add up to 384. God is good. I had a good time with that. Now, the problem is that it's a simultaneous equation with 4 letters. I don't think people would be comfortable with that. It's technically doable. It's one of those things that I feel like for you guys, if you just sat there and just kept plumbing away at it, eventually you'd figure it out just by even guessing numbers. Now, it might take you hours and you might not have had enough time in the exam. What I mean is, it's not really a formula for it. It's just kind of like a fuck around with it. I just have more experience, so that's why that was not flexing on you. Ella goes swimming 1 session, so this is similar to the ordinary level 1. First three sets are shown. There we go. In each set, she swims a certain number of different distances called shuttles. There are 3 shuttles in set 1, 20, 40, 20. This gives a total distance of 80 meters for set 1. First shuttle in each set is 20. They increase by 20, so it's like kind of whose triangle is this? It's not Sierpinski's triangle. It's whose triangle? I can't remember his name. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So it should be like this. This would be, we're adding on 100, so that'd be 180. Now this would be 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 80, 60, 40, 20. And if we add all of that together, we're going to be basically adding all the previous numbers up here, but an extra 100 and an extra 80, so an extra 180, so that'd be 500. So just out of curiosity, that's 100, that's 140, that's 180. I guess it makes sense that that's how it's going to work out, that we're adding on 40 each time. 40 though, I just completely just wrote 20. Ooh, okay. Suppose that Ella keeps swimming longer and longer sets in this way indefinitely. Find the length of the 12th shuttle in set 4. Wow. Okay. Set 14, sorry, set 14. So, we can use these. This is a linear sequence. So I would say that the formula for Tn for that would be it's it's going to be 3 plus 2, well, no, 1 plus 2n. So for the 14th set, for T14, there would be 29 shuttles. Wow. I suppose what you could do it. So I definitely know 12 is below half. So we just say 20 would be the first one, 40 would be the second, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200, 240. Right? Yep, I think that's chill. Find a formula in terms for the total distance in meters for set n. So we're going to be doing this one. Give your answers this because it's a quadratic. We knew that. Now a is always half of the second one, so it's going to be 20. So we're going to say a is 20 straight up, so that's fine. That's 20. Now we know when n is 1, so we get 20 times 1 squared plus b times 1 plus c. What was the first one? 680. We tidy that up a bit, we would get b plus c equals 60. And we know when we do it 2 times, we sub in 2 everywhere there's an n, we should get 180. Tidy that up, that's going to be 80, so that would be 2b plus c is equal to 100. So we're going to do simultaneous between here and here. The c is cancelled, you'd be left with b, you'd be left with 40. b is 40. And that means c is 20. So the actual answer would be 20n squared plus 40n plus 20. In set H, shuttle 21 and 43 are at the same length. Ooh, spicy. I love it so much. So 21 and 43 are at the same length. They're on the same kind of pattern, right? So in the middle of 21 and 43 would be 32. So the 32nd one is in the middle. That means it's 31 either side. But that means it's T31 because there was 1 for 1, 2 for 2, 3 for 3 either side of the middle. So that means this would be set 31. Oh, that's the answer. Never mind. Sorry. Is that right? Set H. For set 1, there was 1 number in front of the middle. For set 2, there was 2 numbers in front of the middle. For set 3, there were 3 numbers in front of the middle. 32 is a number in the middle. So that means there's 31 in front of it, but that means it's 31. Find an expression in K for the length of the kth shuttle in set 18. Wow. Well, in set 18, that would mean that there's 17. Okay, but it says K has to be 19 to 37, so it's on the right-hand side. So if we think about it, for the 18th set, the middle number would be 18 times 20, isn't that correct? No, well, it would be 20 plus 18 times 20. 20 plus 18 times 20, yes, so 380. Yeah, so 380 be in the middle. So then the 19th would be 400. And then the next one would be 4. No, wouldn't it be 380? No, it wouldn't. I have this all backwards. This would be 360 and 340 because we're immediately going down. So the 19th one would be 360 and 340. So it's a linear sequence where A is 360 and or is minus, well, not or, sorry, D is minus 20. So if we set that up, we would say it's just Tn is equal to 360 plus n minus 1 times minus 20. But that works out to be 380 minus 20n. But that would be assuming we're going to sub in 1, 2, and 3, but we want to sub in 18. Or sorry, sub in 19. So we're actually going to change it to 380 minus 2 times 18 plus k, k minus 18. Because if we subbed in 19, then this would go 19 minus 18 is 1, and it would think we want the first one. I left out a 0 there this whole time, sorry, that should have been 20. So if we subbed in 19, we'd get 1, 20, take away 20 from 380 would be 360. Yeah, now I can tidy that up ever so slightly. That would be 380 minus 20k plus 360. If we add that together, it would be 740 minus 20k. Just out of curiosity, would that work? 19 times 20 is 380. If we take 380 away from 740, we get 360. Yeah, look at me, I'm a happy little bunny. If we subbed in 20, let me just make sure, that would be 400. And oh, having a great old time, so I am. Now, could you guys do those? Again, I feel like for that one, you could figure it out if you just did it all out. This one would be difficult. I can understand that. This one you're supposed to be able to do fine. It's, yeah, it doesn't come up in honors. These two you'd be okay with. It's not awful so far, but we'll have a look. There are different formulas that Ella can use to estimate the heaviest weight that she could lift just once. Oh. It doesn't help that I'm a fat fuck and I don't know what's going on in the gym, so. Oh, a maximum value for M using the fact you can do or reps of W weight, and it's just two different formulas. That's actually chill. I don't know gym, but I know maths. Find the difference in the value of M for each formula for 5. Bro, that's fine. Give your answer in terms of W, that's fine. So it would be 7 over 6 W for this one. Because if you sub in 5, it'd be 1 over 6. 1 plus 1 over 6 is 7 over 6 multiplied by W. If you subbed in 5 here, it'd be 32 on the bottom. 36 over 32 would be 9 over 8. And we have to minus them. And if we do 9 over 8, because 9 over, 7 over 6 is actually bigger, I think. We take away 9 over 8. We'd get 1 over 24, but we have to remember the W ourselves. So we'd say 1 over 24W, or W over 24. Solve an equation to find the number of ore for which the two formulas give the same value. So when they do that, we want you to put it equal to each other. So they want us to do this. It's going to piss everyone off when I go in and I'm like, no, guys, it was fine. Oh, dear. Dear, dear, dear. Now, the W's would cancel. Now, I can change that into 30 plus ore over 30. 36 over 37 minus ore. Whip him up there. So I get 37 minus ore times 30 plus ore equals 36 times 30. That would be, I should know that, but I don't want to risk. Oh, I would have gotten it wrong, I think. 1110. Now it should be plus 37 minus 30, so plus 7 ore, and then minus ore squared equals 36 times 30 would be 1080, I think. Well, let me just make sure. 1080, yep. Bring that over and it makes a minus 30, so we'd have minus ore squared plus 7 ore plus 30. That could have been horrendous. And then we do minus b with that. Let me see if I can. That would be a minus. Yeah, we can do this. 7 ore minus 30 equals 0, but that means ore is equal to 10 ore minus 3. Because that would be 100 minus 70 minus 30, and that would be 9 minus 20 minus 21. There you go, I was being stupid. Plus 21, I was being even more stupid. 9 plus 21, yeah, so that's fine. But we can't have b minus 3, you can't have minus 3 reps, so it's 10. That question, I really enjoyed it. The maths in it is quite simplistic in the sense that there's no major formulas, but the algebra required is quite intense, so I can understand people being unhappy with that, but I think a lot of people would have gotten a lot more marks than they thought. What the fuck is Derek? Okay. Try and label the graph of gx plus 3 on the diagram. So I would think a lot of people, well, I would hope people could spot that if this is gx and gx plus 1 is just it moved up 1, gx plus 3 is just it moved up 3 spaces. So it'd be there, there, this corner would be here, and then this one over here would be over here, and you just join them up in the same style. Hopefully you would have spotted that. Oh, this shit is getting spicier. There's hx. You notice x minus 1 is just everything is 1 lower. It's not. I completely lied to you. If it's in the bracket, you have to move it left or right, but it's the opposite way to what you would think. So even though it's minus 1, we're actually moving to the right 1 space, even though people would think move to the left. So plus 2 actually means we're moving 2 to the left. So we're going to move this here, this here. This is going to be like here somewhere. And then this is going to be over here. Then join them up. Hopefully, because they gave you one, you might be able to spot the pattern. Whoa. The diagram below shows the graph of a periodic function. The diagram shows more than one full period. Of course, we're not stupid. The graph of the function repeats this way for all of x. Ooh, you're not impressing me. Use the graph to answer these. State the period of the function fx. Well, I would say it goes boom, 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 and then starts again. So I would say the period is 5. There are infinite number of whole numbers for which the graph of this and the graph of f of x plus n are the same. True. State 3 possible values of n. So I think it's just multiples of 5, no? Not the graph of f of x plus n. Yeah, they kind of told you all this shit, but it's in such maths language. I just don't think people are going to cop. So if you subbed in 2, let's say you did f of 2, you would get 1 as an answer. But if you subbed in f of 7, you would also get 1 as an answer because it's just 5 this way, right? Now I know I didn't pick one that's on the graph, but I promise you it would have gone over here, so it'd still be at a height of 2. So as long as you just put a multiple of 5 in there, you're fine. So as long as n is 5 or 15 or 100 even, it should be chill. You could have just done 5, 10, 15. You could even do minus 5, minus 10, minus 15, yeah. Oh, no, I was going to say do 0, but like it says n can't be 0. They saw me coming. Find the value of, the integral from 0 to 3. So, what that means is the area between the graphs from here to here. Right, so this is a square here. Nice and easy. So that's 1 times 1. So the square bit is 1. I would say this one is half of the square because it's a triangle, so I'd say plus a half. Now this one is going to be trickier for people, but this is going to be a third of the way, and this is going to be 2/3. 2/3 and a third, just because it's split in 3 boxes as it goes across 1. So this would be 1 over 3. So for a triangle, the formula is a half base by height. So we would say for that triangle, I would say a half. The base is 1 over 3. The height is 1. And then for the other one, I would say the height is 2. So it's still going to be a half multiplied by base, which is 2 over 3. And the height, which is 2. Now, if we add all this together, that's a 1, that's a half, that's a sixth. That is 2/3. Because these two cancel out, that's irrelevant. Then we'd say 2 over 3. Yeah. If we add all that together, oh boy, I'm just going to do it. I'm too tired for this shit. 0.5 plus 1 over 6 plus 2 over 3. 7 over 3. That's what I'm saying. Now, yes, that is what I'm saying. Ooh, will that actually be controversial with the minus bit? Am I forgetting about the minus bit? How does that work? I'm going to say that's it. I'm going to say that's fine. For now, I might come back and change that though. That's what I'm going to say for now, actually. Based on the graph of this on the previous page, f dash x, the derivative of x is defined for x. For x in between 0 and 6. Why is it not defined after that? no reason, I guess. It is equal to 3 when x is in between 0 and 1. Yeah, because the slope, it's, as it goes across one box, it's moving up 3. From 1 to 2, it's a slope of 0. That's what they have here. Perfect. Now, from 2 until 5, you'll notice every time it goes across one box, it goes down a box. So we would say that has a slope of -1. From 2 till 5. And then when it's 5 to 6, it goes back to this again. Just because it's back shooting up at the slope at 3. Yep. J. I've never seen them use J before. Is a different function of x where that's greater than this. For a constant a, if you integrate it between 1 and a, you get 200. Use this to find the value of... Oh, in terms of a and b, yeah, I misread that. So if we integrate something like that, we can actually integrate it like this. B dx. But if b is a constant, and this thing, we know this thing is equal to 200, so all of that, I'm going to say, just turns into 200. This one, though, we have to integrate that like normal. B would turn into bx. So in 1 and a, so we'd say 200 plus ba minus b, and that would be my answer. He's investigating if any of the functions, if there are any functions h for which hx plus 1 is equal to hx plus 2. He begins by looking at the functions in this form. He knows that h of x plus 1 multiplies out into this shit. No, it's just equal to... Yeah, they just multiplied it all out, yep. Just making sure, yeah. Uses to find two values of a and b, which make the following true for all values of x. So I'm just going to say, instead of that, ax squared plus 2ax, just literally what they said, plus a plus bx plus b plus c, plus c, equals hx, which they told me up above was this, and then plus 2. Now the x squareds have to match, and they do, so that's fine, I can ignore them. The x's have to match, so that's him, him, and him. But you notice there's a bx and a bx already, so this should have actually been 0. So I'm going to say a is 0. And then these have to match the non-x terms. So a plus b plus c has to equal to c plus 2. But a is 0, so I'd say a plus b plus c equals c plus 2. But the c's cancel, and a is 0, so it goes away, so b is 2. So now I know a is 0, b is 2. Show that the information... Oh my god. State what values... Jesus Christ, I'm so tired after this apparently. State what information your values of a and b from give you a bit the graph. It's going to be linear. It's going to be linear. Slope of 2. Going to be a straight line going up, but every time we go across 1, it's going to go up 2. Oh, wow. Okay. Now, let me think. Yeah, okay, well that's the speed run done anyway. I'm going to think about this and actually talk to my own students about this. It's going to annoy them when I tell them. I think my genuine opinion on this is that the numbers were actually... The maths was fine, just very unconventional, not done in a way that we would kind of expect it to come up. So it'll be interesting to see now. But yeah, that's my attempt at the speed run of all of it. 2.5 hours. That's okay. I'm alright with that. But yeah.